Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Fieldhouse. We're now in week 2 of the playoffs. I'm Blake Monroe, and I'm joined weekly by Jerry Hamilton, Coach Tim Buchanan, Bob Shipley, and Carl Padilla of the Padilla Poll. And Carl, as we do every week, what do you have for us?
Yeah, it's been it was an interesting week last week. There was only 38 shutouts, but remember, we're in the first week of the playoffs, so there's basically 60% of the games of a normal week during the regular season. We had 6 teams score in the 80s, including Alito, 25 score in the 70s, and so that's 31 combined, which is almost 10% of the games played last week because there's only 320. And that's more in the 70s and 80s scored last week 31 times than a normal week that has over 520 games. So 52 schools won by 50 or more. 42 games were one-score games, and 15 games had 100 points total. So the Coach Buck defensive games of the week were the Woodlands 24, Houston Davis 0, Frisco Reedy 24, Creekview 3, Huntsville 21, Marshall 7, Burnett, Coach Shipley 21, Andrews 7, and Canton 20, Kettle Mills 7. So the Coach Shipley offensive games of the week, and I think I took all 3 of them that both teams scored at least 50. So Amarillo set a state record for a playoff game by losing to El Dorado 77-76.
Oh my God!
And I haven't confirmed this, but supposedly Amarillo was up 42-7 at one point in that game.
Wow!
So Whitney beat Whitesboro 61-55, and Gregory Portland beat Tivy 75-50. In the Colt Monroe All Heart games, Bishop Lynch beat Central Catholic 35-34. Gonzales stopped Crosby's late 2-point attempt and won 27-26. And Lexington stopped Wallace Browse's 2-point attempt and won 42-41. So I added another category this week. Jerry Hamilton's putting on a show games.
I love it.
These are all the 80-point or more games. Abilene beat Bel Air 84-25. Alito squeaked by Saginaw 80-12. Tascosa beat Parkland 84-13. West Plains said, "We can do this better than all of y'all." They beat Irvin 85-0. Dumas beat Riverside 83-35. Gunner beat Rice 84-7. If you look at the first 6 games in the 5A-D1 bracket in by district, the winners outscored the losers 76.8-29.3.
Oh my gosh!
Amarillo had 76 of the 176 points that the losers scored.
Y'all excuse Coach Buck. He's got to go throw up.
He's shaking his head.
He got a pasty look on his face.
I mean, he had 5 schools outscore his Bearcats last week. I mean, what's going on at Alito, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, Carl, what was the biggest upset in your eyes in week 1? Was there a couple that stand out?
Yeah, there's a couple that stand out, but the one that really hurt was Anson beating Ozona and keeping Christian Virial from breaking the state record for most rushing yards in a year.
Oh.
And it wasn't close. It was 35-14.
Wow.
So, but yeah, the other thing is all the guys in the Angleton-LaPorte district, getting beat.
Lost. All of us lost. Yes, yeah. Well aware. Thank you, Carl. Well aware. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, you see any good high school games in Cabo last week?
No, I didn't actually. There's some football, but it wasn't the kind we played.
Well, glad to have you back, Bob. And last week, we had Carl pick out some games that we were going to look at that we thought might be interesting. This week, Jerry did the honors, and he picked 5 here. And I'm going to put it up on the screen, as y'all can see, an 11-0 Springtown versus a 9-2 Panther Creek team. 2 talented teams. Curious to get y'all's thoughts.
I brought that one up so Coach Buck could tell us about Springtown, because Panther Creek obviously has Jalen Lott, Texas legend James Lott's son, who's committed to Oregon. Texas still trying to recruit him. And the safety over there, Donovan Webb, going to Texas Tech, is dynamite at Panther Creek. So I got that covered from a recruiting standpoint. But Coach Buck, what makes Springtown 11-0 and so good this year in your eyes?
Well, number one, they got a bunch of dang tough kids. You know, Alito had beat Springtown a few times, but I know one thing we didn't want to do. Our kids didn't want to get in a fight with them before or after the game because those guys they're really, really tough. And Coach Hewlett's doing a great job of getting them to play football at the right time. And they're 11-0 right now. I think they'll give Panther Creek all they want. And I know Panther Creek is really talented. I know the Lott kid is really special. But I think the Porcupines can pull this one out.
Yeah. The one thing about all the Friscos, you know, especially like a Panther Creek, there's so many schools in that district now. There's not enough offensive linemen to go around.
Right.
Like every time I've been up there to see them, either skill or you're like, yeah, great. Like obviously the two guys I mentioned, but other guys, they've got other guys. But up front, size wise, they're not as big as a lot of other teams. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up if they progress down in the playoffs some.
I was just looking at Springtown's schedule. They have 5 shutouts where they scored 55 plus, and then obviously the other team shut out. So pretty impressive.
Springtown's in bad shape because the computer, and I always put "the" in capital letters, but the computer has them favored by 1, so that's usually an 85% chance you're going to lose the game.
The Padilla jinx is in.
All right. Up next on the list is an 11-0 Carthage versus an 8-3 Sanger team.
I'm throwing this one at Carl. Obviously, Scott Surratt going for yet another state championship. All the talent they brought back off that team last year, but Sanger's put up a ton of points this year. Who's your favorite in that one? Because I know it's Carthage, but by how much can Sanger score on Carthage and make it a game? Because they've scored on a lot of people this year.
You know, I think the biggest thing about this game is could it be without weather interruptions, the first 5-hour game in Texas high school football history. Yeah. You know, they both love to throw the ball. Of course, Carthage can run it too. When I saw Sanger play, they played gunner, and that was, you know, a little mismatch. Yeah. Carthage is only favored by 23. So,
yeah.
Yep. You know,
so I'll take Carthage in the points.
I'm sure you will.
Oh, man. And number 3 on the list, 10-1 North Forney, 9-1 Waxahachie.
Coach Bob Shipley here for you on this one. Obviously, you've watched John Turntine, right? All that talent. Just watch him. We talked about him on the show. Waxahachie obviously has Cohen Brown committed to Texas. Jaquan Snell, the 27 stud safety, just committed to A&M. This game has got a ton of talent in it. I mean, like, I've been to both. Went to those schools back-to-back days the week of Texas OU. And for the people in Dallas, man, this is bring your speed. You got to have Nikes if you're coming to this game because this is some fast dudes on the field.
Yeah, you know, that is going to be a great matchup. My father grew up in Forney, Texas. He was a jackrabbit because that's all they had there was jackrabbits. And the embarrassing thing is when they were in junior high, they called them cottontails. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. Going to be a great game, but I got to go with Waxahachie on this one. I don't know that North Forney's is going to be able to withstand the firepower. Although North Forney has some of their own, there's just you watch that Waxahachie film, and there's players all over the field. And I'm going to give Waxahachie the nod on this one. Although it would be a great game to go watch if you want to go watch a game.
Yeah, Legend Bay at North Forney is an absolute jet playing quarterback. He'll probably play receiver / running back at Ohio State, but he is an absolute jet with the football in his hands. And they have other guys, but Legend Bay's having one of the best seasons going in big school football.
And last on Jerry Hamilton's list of 5 here, an 11-0 Ridge Point versus a 9-2 North Shore.
Yeah, and this is swinging back to you, because so Dickinson 11-0, Pearland 11-0. Somebody's going to be 11-0 and go home at 11-1. Dickinson knocked out Atascocita last week. Pearland beat Fort Bend Travis. Ridge Point 11-0, North Shore 9-2. What does the computer say for those two, and what are your thoughts, Carl, on that? Because When's the last time North Shore went out in round 2? I can't remember.
It's been a while. I'd have to look it up. I've got Rich Point by 3. And after last week, you think, wow, Rich Point's not all that good. But if you knew what Rich Point went through last week, you might change your mind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they had the flu run through them.
Yeah.
And, give them credit. They won. And they got the scare of their life because Dawson was on the 2-yard line on the last play of the game and didn't complete the pass. So, they escaped with their lives, but, it's win in advance.
What about Dickinson and Pearland? What do you have on that one? Because that's an interesting game. Dickinson has had a great year. They I would say upset. They beat Atascocita in round 1. Then now what do they get? You get 11-0 Pearland. BJ Gott's doing a great job at Pearland. Pearland has some running backs again. They didn't have that same level of running backs they had for many years. They got some running backs, and they got some D linemen on that team. They got a multiple Power 4 guys.
Well, same computer favors Waxahachie and Dickinson by the same amount, which is 4 points.
Okay.
So I can just see that one going back and forth. Dickinson loves to play games in the 40s and 50s. And so it may be one of those 49-45 games.
All right, Bob, I know you had some games out west that you were wanting to shine a light on.
Well, how about this? Can Menard hang with Gordon? That's the question. Hey, Menard, the closest game they played was 62-40. And now Gordon beat was it Thorndale? I think an 11-man team and beat the dog out of them. I think what was it? They beat them 54-21, an 11-man team. So Gordon's just one of those. We were texting about that earlier today. They're just one of those teams that are just unbelievably talented. But Menard is saying not so fast. But I don't think Coach Mike Reed's done a great job at Gordon. But out here in West Texas, we got a pretty good Abilene High team. And they had a big win. Of course, last week scored a lot of points. But Abilene High 9-2 versus Denton Ryan at 10-1. That's going to be a pretty good matchup. We've got Coahoma 9-2 at Canadian, which is 10-1. Canadian been a perennial power in the Panhandle, and then Cisco 11. I'm sorry, that was Coahoma and Canadian. It's Cisco 10-1 against Panhandle 9-2. That's going to be a great game. And then Wink and Groover, both of them 9-2. So that's what's going on out here in West Texas that caught my eye.
And one thing I wanted to bring up, because I didn't realize they announced it, the Texas High School Football Hall of Fame class of 2026 was announced, fellas. And so I guess they do it by decade. Maybe, Carl, you might be able to shine a little more light on this than I can. But 1969 and before, they have Dickie Morton from Kimball High School in Dallas. For the 70s, they have Alfred Anderson from Waco Ridgefield. 1980s is Edwin Simmons from Hawkins. 1990s, Dane Johnson from South Lake Carroll. The 2000s, Katy High School's Andy Dalton. And then those are your main players. Got a couple of other names. Mike Jarek, I hope I'm saying that correctly. And then Dallas Houston, longtime announcer for the Brownwood Lions. Bob, I know you know him. And then Terry Crone from Bartlett Commerce and Mart High. And then Eddie Joseph, the Chris Coating, from Canadian High School as well.
Man, look, Edwin Simmons is about as good as it gets out of this state. I mean, one of the top running backs it's amazing how many of the top running backs have come from small towns, small schools. Alfred Anderson was a hell of a one. Dane Johnson I don't know about you guys. That was kind of when I found South Lake Carroll. Dane Johnson might have put them on the map a little bit. Andy Dalton, obviously, out of Katy High School, went on the TCU and a long NFL career. For the Texas fans out there, Terry Cron, Coach Quan Cosby at Mart.
I can tell you, Alfred Anderson, from trying to tackle his butt, he deserves to be on there. He was a great high school football player. Then, of course, went on to be a great, college and pro football player too.
Buck, maybe long after we're dead and buried, they'll go through enough people through the 70s that maybe you and I can get in there maybe in about 200 years when they've honored everybody else that played in the 70s.
I'll do that. I'll do that show and honor y'all.
They're going to have to go through a lot of linebackers to get me on there.
Me too.
Gary, here's a question for you.
Uh-oh.
There's two people who have been in the finals on the ballot for, this Hall of Fame. Name one of them.
That have been in the finals that didn't get in?
Yeah, the most years
High school
ever.
football?
Yeah, there's two of
The
us.
high school coaches, the high school sports Hall of Fame.
No, the high school
High school football.
football. Yeah, not the sports.
One probably went to Churchill since you're bringing this up. Cody Carlson or something.
Cody got in back in, I don't know, early 2000s.
Did he? I don't know. You got me on this one, Carl.
Yeah, he's the only one from Churchill ever in. Yeah, I'm tied for the record with the most finals appearances.
I was going to ask when Carl's getting in.
That hasn't been elected. So, I mean, and, they do what they think is right, and you just got to respect it. And everybody they elect is worthy of the honor.
We'll have a cake on air when you make it.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to shoot for class of
Well, good luck. And
2027.
all, any of you voters out there listening, nobody works harder in this business
Yeah,
than
come on,
Carl
man.
Padilla does.
Yeah, get him in. Got to get him in.
Hey, I'll tell you what,
Who's the other one?
you're talking about these like Gordon Wood when he came to Brownwood, I guess, in 1960, I think, won a state championship, and Dallas Houston was a young broadcaster, and Brownwood has won 7 state championships, and Gordon Wood called every one of them. He is, in my mind, hands down, career-wise, the best to ever do it. He was unbelievable. His mind, he remembers games from 30, 40 years ago that it seemed irrelevant, but he will bring up things about that. Not only that, he's an amazing man.
Yeah. What is there a length of time when you've retired where as a coach or player before you can get in for this?
Now, I don't
think
so. Well, yeah, I'm sure there is. But you'd think they start with the 2010s, because they've got 2000s is the last one. Well, there's 25 years of that. And I don't remember what year Jordan got in, but I'm sure there was, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 10 years. I don't know.
All right. Well, Buck, you're a shoe-in, so I'll be excited that day.
Buck, are you already in? But you're already in.
I'm in as a coach.
Oh, you were in as a coach?
Yeah,
When did you get in?
Yeah, what are you talking about, man?
I didn't know that. I thought you wasn't in. When did you get in?
24, maybe.
Okay.
23.
We need to rerun a show and have his announcement on here, Faith. Like a mock signing day thing.
I'll go dig
It's
through
neat. I'm going to tell you that the Texas High School Sports Hall of Fame does an unbelievable job. Because they do several different categories. They have the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, which, I mean, they've got race car drivers, they've got, rodeo people, they've got football players, basketball players, they've got sports. I went to when Randy Galloway got put into the Sports Hall of Fame. I went and watched that. And that might have been the most entertaining banquet I have ever been to, because it was awful. It was Shereen Williams went in at the same time, and they were hilarious. Now, it wasn't a bunch of old football coaches getting up to telling stories, I promise you. But they do a great job. And, of course, they do all that. They run that entire Hall of Fame is all off donations. And so if you're not a member, you need to become a member of the Texas Sports Hall of Fame.
Hey, Blake, one thing about Gordon and Menard, we don't need to give Menard any more ammunition, but no one except Thorndale, which was an automatic full game, but no one in 6-man has played Gordon to the second half this year.
Yeah, that's what I think. I heard that the other day, actually. So they're tough outing, that's for sure.
Here's they don't have a home football field. Tornadoes took out their football field, their stadium, a year ago, a little over a year ago. They do not have a home stadium. They have played every game on the road.
Wow. Huh.
Mm.
Well, speaking of on the road, guys, what games are we paying attention to this weekend, or where might you be going? Carl, I'm going to start with you.
Tomorrow night I'll be in Sweetwater watching Slayton and Merkel. Slayton runs a slot I, and Merkel runs a bear front. So we'll see if that gets them any points. And Merkel runs a spread, and Slayton runs a 50. So Slayton's 9-2 on the year. Merkel's 7-4. Merkel only had to win one district game, beating Stanton pretty bad to get into the playoffs. They both scored about the same amount of points, 416 for Slayton, 401 for Merkel. But Slayton's only given up 232, whereas Merkel's Bearfront's given up 287.
Jerry?
I thought about this one, and so a couple of years ago, I guess it started 3 years ago, then 2 years ago, I watched Port Arthur Memorial because I had to go down there to see they had a bunch of young prospects, Tank King, the linebacker committed to A&M, multiple other guys, Brock King. They have a number of D1 kids down there. And, Port Neches had got the better of them, but I think it was kind of, and that was non-district game, but they were kind of building for this year. And they've put this year together. I mean, they've had multiple big wins. They've had multiple shutouts. They shut out Lufkin 30-0. I mean, they beat Barbers Hill 34-6, Westbrook 41-18, Sterling 63-13 in district games. I mean, so this is the year Port Arthur Memorial fans and that coaching staff have been waiting on for a while with this class. That's the really good senior class, a few really good juniors in that class too. They're taking on the only school in College Station that has A&M in their initials that's lost this year. A&M Consolidated, who's 9-2, coming off that 1-point win over Crosby. And obviously, I'm taking Memorial to win the game, but I just kind of wanted to give their staff and that community a hat tip because this is the year they've been waiting on. And sometimes that year goes your way, and sometimes it doesn't. But they are 11-0 going into this one, Carl. I don't know if you have a line on that one for us, but I'm guessing it's PAM by 10 or 11.
It is PAM by 15, as we call it.
Okay. There you go.
Coach Buck, what about you?
I'm going with the Paragon Fields of the year, Salado and Rockport. It's been a long time. Carl might be able to tell us, but I can't remember the last time that Rockport has been in the second round of the playoffs.
Good one.
And they're going to be playing Salado, who's both of those schools. I'm a Central Texas guy, so really like Salado. But Coach Soto's done a great job down at Rockport, getting them in the playoffs. They beat Cuero this year, which is something they haven't done in a while, I promise you. And it ought to be a heck of a game. I think it's a 7 or less point game right now.
Wow. And Bob?
Well, I'm going to stay here in Abilene. I have not watched North Crowley in person. They're coming into town to play Midland Legacy, Midland Lee at Shotwell Stadium. And so I'm going to go out there and check out that game.
Man, that is maybe the most talented team in the state. As far as Division I football prospects, they're unbelievable. Hey, Coach Buck, I just saw who you were inducted with in 24. By the way, Cedric Benson and Corey Redding.
Yeah.
Late Cedric Benson and Corey Redding, two of the best to put on that Longhorn uniform, Coach Shipley.
Yeah, no doubt.
Cedric Benson is one of the true high school legends that has ever come through this state. What he did in the playoffs, state championships, he ran with a physicality that's really hard to find. Play in, play out. Game in, game out. I watched him at West Monroe get absolutely pounded for 3.5 quarters of a game. And he might have ran harder on his last 6-7 carries in that fourth quarter than any running back I've ever seen. And that's when West Monroe was loaded with LSU commits and Bama guys. And he was an unbelievable competitor. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Really was.
Hey, I want to ask Carl real quick. Carl, who do you think is going to win Fairfield and Yoakum? 11-0 Fairfield. Yoakum 92, of course, former UT Longhorn, Bo Robinson, the head coach at Yoakum.
I've got Fairfield by that loneliest number. So by 1.
Oh,
Wow.
So we'll see how it works out. And for Bucks, Coach Buck's question, Rockport made the 3rd round in 18 and 19.
oh,
Really?
Yep.
okay.
So that may have been when they went down to 3A because of the big bad hurricane, that tore up the Texas coast. So
Oh,
Well, there we go. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Fieldhouse. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Of course, we'll be back same time, same place next week. So for Coach Tim Buchanan, Coach Bob Shipley, Jerry Hamilton, Carl Padilla, I'm Blake Monroe, and we'll see you then.